for Lamar, and his head coach looks happy, Jesse Minter. But does this in any way change how you feel about the Ravens in 2026? It's not a football piece of news, but it instills confidence. It instills solidity into that offense. We know who's going to be out there and why. I don't know. Will you wake up this morning on a Wednesday? Do you feel differently about the Ravens than you did yesterday on Tuesday? Manti?
I don't think I feel differently today than I did yesterday simply because of the Zay Flowers signing, but I do feel different about the Baltimore Ravens after what they did this offseason, especially, hiring their new head coach, Jesse Minter. I think there was a resurgence or a reawakening of what the Baltimore Ravens once was. You bring in Jesse Minter understanding that he's coming as a defensive coach. This is the first defensive-minded coach that they hired since the inception of their franchise, going back to Baltimore, becoming the Ravens. Yep. Now, I also think that when you start to consider a defensive-minded coach, he wants to do one thing, Jaleel, and that's run the football. So it's not just an identity shift for the defense, it's also offensively. Then you bring in Declan Doyle, and Declan Doyle has already talked about he's going to put Lamar Jackson under center. What does that mean? They're going to run the football, right? So it's less on Lamar, it's less on Zay Flowers, and more on Derrick Henry. And it takes me back to a time, again, at the inception of the Baltimore Ravens franchise where they used to run the ball a lot. When you see this madman, Jamal Lewis, with no gloves on, no tape, nothing, just running through cats, right? Watching Willis McGahee out of the University of Miami running people over. Ray Rice become the young star in the National Football League for the Baltimore Ravens. So, yes, when you hire somebody like Jesse Minter, it's like, man, we got to fix things defensively. But then you also say, man, what got us here? What made people fear the purple and black? It was because not only are you going to get hit by Ray Lewis and Ed Reed defensively, but then you're going to have these big boys coming downhill out of I formation with their quarterback under center and these guys 8 yards back, and you're going to have to tackle them. And there's a guy by the name of Derrick Henry that is really good at that move right there, the stiff arm, that you're going to have to deal with. So does the signing make me feel any different about the Baltimore Ravens, Jaleel? No, because I felt the hiring as a head coach and the offensive coordinator already set the precedence for me of what I could expect about the Baltimore Ravens heading into this year.
Yeah, man, Ty, the signing of Zay Flowers just makes sure that Lamar has his security blanket, right? That's their number one receiver when you look at their offense. But what you talked about is the defense. We know what kind of defense the Ravens built their chemistry on, history, what it looks like. When you play the Baltimore Ravens, man, Ty, it's going to be a physical game for all 4 quarters. But you talk about Declan Doyle and him saying, hey, we want to put Lamar Jackson underneath the center more. That brings 2 things in mind. No more RPO, right? And it allows the offensive line, who is newly built, to be able to fire off the ball. When you talk about RPO, guys, this is a run-pass option, right? So you can either run it or you can pass it. If the linebackers bite, throw a quick slant. If the linebackers are slow to go, we're letting the ball go and we're running downhill. But when you get underneath the center, right, that allows the offensive line to fire off the ball. When you're running an RPO offense, the lineman can't get downfield fast because if it's a penalty. If you throw the ball while they're down the field, it's a penalty. So I like that they're going to put Lamar underneath center, let Derrick Henry and that offensive line be physical, bring that physical presence about the Baltimore Ravens back to what we know them to be historically. And I think, obviously, what Jesse Minter has done with the Chargers in the past and the weapons that he has on all 3 levels on the defensive side of the ball, listen, the sky's the limit for this team. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, we know what they're going to look like early in the season, but what is it going to look like later in December and January? I'm excited to see what that looks like, man, Ty.
What you got, KB?
We like to go positive, guys. It's what we do. And I'm not going negative here, but let's just be candid for a sec. Like, I saw this money and I was like, whoa. Zay Flowers is a very good player. I like him. But we're in this world of, I just put up Jamar Chase. I just put up Justin Jefferson. Zay Flowers has played 3 seasons. He's never caught more than 5 touchdowns. Okay? It's fine. He's a very good, productive player. He's very exciting. He's a good guy. But, like, he had a 1,200-yard season last year. All right? It was pretty good. I mean, it's really good. But it's like, is he those guys?
Yeah.
Jackson Smith and Jigba was unstoppable for the entire season. Put it this way. I've always thought he was a very good player. I'm surprised at how much money he got. And I understand comps, and that's the going rate and everything. Is there any part of you that says, I don't know if this is a bona fide number 1 year after year? I'm just putting that out there. I know we go positive, but I know there's a lot of people out there who was like, what? How much for Zay Flowers?
Yeah. No, I'm on the same train as you, KB. I was surprised at the number at where he was. Now, I am all for players getting paid. I was one of those, hey, get your money, Zay Flowers, congratulations. That's what we all worked for. But when you watch and you look at that list, right, immediately my my mind goes to Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? He plays the same exact position, but when you talk about production, when you talk about usage, when you talk about the system there, Amon-Ra St. Brown is used at a higher clip and is more important to the Detroit Lions than Zay Flowers is to the Baltimore Ravens. So, again, to your point, KB, could this be where the market is? Great. Shout out to his agent. Shout out to his, that's why you hire good agents, so that they could negotiate these type of things for you in the event where there is some discrepancies and different beliefs of how a team can use you. So, again, I'm all for players getting paid. I was surprised at the number, but congratulations to Zay Flowers, Ja. Hey, get your money and keep going. Hopefully it amounts to wins for the Baltimore Ravens.
Most definitely, but I think beauty is in the eye of the beholder in this situation. And then when you look at it, it's right now, Zay Flowers is Lamar Jackson's number one, right? And a lot of times you see guys get extensions and you're like, man, I just don't know. I don't see it. But like you said, the front office feels like, hey, this is his main target. This is who we rely on when we look to make a play in the passing game. Do his numbers stack up with all the other elite receivers that he's in that conversation with and the kind of money he's making? No, but it just is what it is. Yesterday's price isn't today's price. And that's just how it goes. When you look at it, that's why all these parents have their kids in youth football and youth sports, because the numbers that these guys are getting nowadays based on what they're doing versus their production, it's not lining up, but that's the market. And that's just what it is at this point. I think, obviously, listen, some people may say wholly overpay, but I think Lamar Jackson's like, hey, I got a security blanket that I know I can depend on, who's going to run the right routes, who's going to find those zones, and who can be a home run threat and use his speed when it's needed, man. So, obviously, KB, I totally agree with you. It just is where the NFL is right now when you talk about contracts and the market.
I got a question, KB, because this, and I'm going to throw it to you, because Jalil brought up a great point, and you look at Zay Flowers, and Zay Flowers, that really is his only pass catcher that he has on the team. Like, you can talk about Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews has slowed, in the past few years. But then Isaiah Likely was that guy, right? In passing situations, Isaiah Likely was the pass catcher that Lamar liked to go to. I got to ask you, if there's a world where Isaiah Likely was still on the Baltimore Ravens, do you think that this type of number and this type of contract gets made?
Probably not. I mean, Likely followed John Harbaugh, and Likely was really good, but they just like, this is the guys we're going to go to battle with. It's a good question, Manti, and there's a lot of questions about this. Okay, yesterday Bijan signs were like, okay, we get it. He's incredible. He's really young. He's strong. He does it all. You pay that guy. You pay Zay Flowers, of course, but the measurement of this contract will not be how did Zay Flowers play in week one. Zay Flowers had 7 touchdowns this year. The measurement of this contract is what plays does Zay Flowers make in the playoffs this year for the Ravens or down the stretch for the Ravens. This is now it's 3rd and 12. Lamar's flushed out of the pocket. He's got to find somebody. How do you find Zay Flowers? Remember, 5'9", 180-some pounds. He's one of the smallest wide receivers in the league. He's certainly the smallest number 1 wide receiver in the league, and that's fine. We've seen guys at his height do it. It's just the measurement of this contract, the legacy of what we're talking about today, $108 million guaranteed, means huge plays in huge games at the end of the season. So I hope he makes them. Certainly Baltimore thinks that he will. But here's what I think we will do. I think we will talk about